Don't choke him. Don't choke him, Jay. Don't.
Oh, it's
I didn't.
You want me to take it off?
yeah, take it off.
Choke him.
Thank you, sir.
What's going on, Facebook Live? Welcome again to Urban City Radio. We're here again tonight, Wednesday night. This is down low.
You got it? You good?
All right.
I ain't messing with you. Like, come over here if you wanna.
So tonight we're going to be talking about Operation Veteran Support. If you did not tune in last week, we had Dr. Brown on with us last week because he did have an event this past Saturday with Operation Veteran Support. But this week we're going to dig into it. We're going to talk about what veterans deal with, what the mindset of a veteran. So we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. I want to thank you again, Dr. Brown, for coming on, and also bringing along Pastor Stack with you.
Yes. All right, so we will be starting the show in a few seconds. No.
If you're on Facebook Live, if you're tuned in on Facebook Live, of course, hit that share button in your lower left hand side of your screen if you got it turned sideways. Also, if you got it horizontal, whatever.
Whatever make you feel better.
Whichever way you want to do it. If you're tuned in on YouTube Live, hit subscribe. If you're on Spreaker, thank you for joining us tonight. If you're on Periscope, hit them hearts. What else we got? That's it.
Periscope?
Said Periscope.
You said YouTube?
Said YouTube.
Our app?
Our app. Download the app. Free 99.
Free 99. All right. Yeah. It's time
ready?
to get started. Yeah. Let's go.
Started because you love us. Yeah.
AC. Our other fearless leader won't be here tonight, but you get to hear his music because he loved us. There it is. Did it cause he loved us. Real life, I'm on it. I'm flown it. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Jay Will. I'm back.
Welcome back, bro.
Welcome. I'm happy to be back.
Glad to have you.
And you are back listening to another episode of Urban City Radio, where we bring you the sounds of boots on the ground.
What's
Boot
going
up.
on, everybody? It's your boy Ice, and tonight we have a great show lined up for you. We have Dr. Brown in the house with us again,
Good evening.
and also Pastor Stack is here with us. If you did not join in, Pastor Stack, say hello to everybody. I apologize. Oh, we'll have to get you in the mic. All right, we'll get you taken care of. But tonight we're going to be talking about Operation Veterans Support. We're going to actually dig in what veterans talk about. If you're not tuned in last week, we had Dr. Brown on. He had a event last week. So, Jay, tell them about the show. Tell them what we do the show.
Yeah, so the reason we do this show, we believe there is a resurgence of believers being called back to the city to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we want to talk about it talking about it with the usage of Christian hip hop and urban music as we talk about urban issues and what's going on in the city. Boot up,
man. So we'll be right back after the break. You already know how we do Urban City Radio. Boot up.
boot up.
Again.
There you go.
There we go.
Oh,
Shouts out to our own
VA.
VA, and also she was on last week. And then JB Sampson, our own from Free Thinkers Radio, on that hook there.
Yes. Y'all got any rest after this past weekend?
Who you talking to?
I'm talking to them. Yeah. I was running around behind Dr. Brown like, look, man. Brown eyes was wide open.
Saturday after I got home, I got some sleep.
I'm glad at least somebody did.
I got some on Monday night.
There you go. Yeah. Pastor Stacks, he was like, what you need? All right, I got it. That's all I heard. I got it.
Amen.
Go grab that TV out the corner, throw it over here, run up them 3 flights of stairs, bring this back down, go.
So y'all was really running.
They was running.
Man.
No, they made this young man feel old. I was like, man, I need to get my knees like this. Like,
Yeah.
they are in good shape.
It was time to rock and roll.
So that's it. I it's crazy because just having to work an 8-hour shift and then getting off work and doing things outside of work, and you have to do it 2 days back to back. Then church on Sunday morning, and then do it again, and then Monday is my day off, but don't feel like my day off. But it's still was a good weekend. Yeah, shouts out to those that are watching. Mama Dixon is watching. Hey, Mama Dixon.
What's up, Miss Chosen? I see you, girl. What's happening? Share
Again-
this with your friends. Share this with your family.
Again, if you have any questions, please post them. Anything that you want to ask our vets, and also about Operation Support, please shoot it out there for us also.
Yo, Miss Chosen, you gonna be in rapping at the Family Fest this weekend.
Sunday.
This Sunday.
Shouts out to the
It's female cipher. Shout out.
Yeah, we back, Urban City Radio. And again, we have Dr. Brown on, and also Pastor Stacks on with us. If you guys could tell us about you and why you're here tonight.
Well, my name is Dr. Glenn Brown, and I'm the founder and CEO of Operation Veteran Support. And we're here to tell Columbia and everyone about what we have to offer and what we do for veterans. Our mission is helping veterans get all the support that they deserve.
And our veterans definitely do need their support.
They do, yeah.
I remember my first job was actually working with veterans, so I've always have a high respect to all men who serve because they're a different breed of men. They're not your average men, but I did realize very quickly that the biggest organization in the United States seems to be the least looked at organization. You get what I'm saying? Like
The most looked upon.
it's like the most responsibility, but we don't really take care of them like we should.
Well, let me add, we can't forget the ladies.
Well,
Women,
absolutely,
they serve.
absolutely.
And that's one of the things that we push. A lot of organizations seem to forget that women serve also.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah, and the fact that it's only been what 30, 40 years since women could serve.
Yeah, it's been around maybe 50 something.
50. Okay. So a lot of times I don't think the women have the doctors in place that even the men have, even though I feel like there's a lack of doctors that are taking care of our veterans, or at least medical support that should be taking care of the veterans. But I think the women have they even have less. They have to usually get civilian doctors or go outside of their coverage.
there was a CNN poll said that it was about over 18 million women that have served up to this far.
Wow.
It's quite a bit.
We have 18 million women that serve. And I wonder, like, how much do we actually take care of them after they served? I wonder. I mean, I just look at the veterans. Matter of fact, you said you had the stats of the veterans in South Carolina alone, correct?
Yes, there's about over 450,000 veterans in South Carolina.
In South Carolina alone,
Just South Carolina,
the state.
the state, yeah.
And you look at the, of course it's the state, but you look at the, because here in Columbia, I mean, you see like my grandfather was a vet, and of course I remember going to like appointments with him to the VA, and it's like you see so many people in there, and it's like he walked in and walked back out.
I ain't never seen that.
I mean,
I ain't seen that while I was at the VA.
It was like he didn't want to just wait,
Oh,
It was just
okay,
the point where
okay.
like he was like, I
Well,
don't have time for that.
A lot of aggravation for the hurry up and wait kind of deal.
Yeah.
You
That
spend a lot of time on active duty, you hurry up and wait, and once you put all your time in and once you've given service to the country, you should be able to come home and not have to stay under that same umbrella. You should be able to be given the service that is needed and necessary for you to be taken care of medically and and even mentally.
Yeah.
You should be able to be serviced in an appropriate time frame. So I, being a veteran myself, having spent much time on active duty and war zones and everything, and I'm Pastor Zach, and I'm also with them, Dr. Brown. I'm the Vice President for OVS, Operation Veteran Support, and also we are creating a chapter within Operation Veteran Support for NAVVET, which is the National Organization for Black Veterans. You know, we're looking forward to doing what we have to do in servicing not just the veterans but their families,
Yeah.
also the community as a whole, because we have to see the full picture. Veterans are not just a veteran group; they're actually the community. They are part of the fullness of people that are within our community, within our state. And going back to a furthering point, when we were talking about the numbers that are in South Carolina, one of the very big reasons why people congregate here as veterans is simply because South Carolina is really a base-driven and service-driven state you know, we have large bases here. So veterans that are despondent and everything, they feel more comfortable in a place where bases are, where other comrades and peers are. So they're going to congregate in those specific areas because they feel like they got brothers and buddies and family in that military perspective or military atmosphere.
Yeah, and I think that was one thing I did see that the VA kind of created an atmosphere for you to fellowship with your fellow veterans. Like a lot of men built relationships in there because they were there all day. You know, you walk in and you're supposed to have an 11 o'clock appointment. These guys get there at 8 o'clock for their 11 o'clock appointment and not seen until like 2, 3 o'clock.
You know what stood out to me? It was a couple of years ago. This young lady was contacted by the hospital. Her dad had an appointment, and they finally got around to calling him up for his appointment. And she was furiated because her dad died a year.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and as a matter of fact, she went to the news on it.
Wow.
That was pretty bad, you know. And I think that was a couple of years ago when they were really cracking down on, you know, trying to expedite the appointments for these veterans.
Wow. I know I was talking to one of the my church members earlier today. We went and had lunch, and he's a veteran, and he was telling me how he needed a certain appointment, and they was like, yeah, he was supposed to have that appointment by the time he was 50. He's 53 now. And the only way he was able to get that appointment is he had to actually stay in the doctor's office and say, after he got his eye exam, say, no, y'all, I'm not leaving until you set another appointment for me. Because if he waited on them, it didn't look like it was going to happen anytime soon. But he had to actually say, no, I'm not leaving, y'all. I'm not leaving without an appointment. I don't care how many people y'all got. I can't leave without an appointment. And that's a story I keep hearing frequently. Now, I do hear great stories from the VA because they offer great services also. But those issues right there, it seems like those are the things that's kind of the more frequent conversations I hear or I have with people of, man, I've been waiting all this time and I don't know why.
Yeah, one of the things that really kind of brought a little unrest in my spirit was that we had a major hospital at Fort Jackson, and they scaled that hospital all the way back. And now that they've done that, they are having the active duty personnel, which they aren't veterans, but they are veterans, but they on active duty.
Yeah.
And it seems like that status of procuring health services for them should stay to that side. But now it's also that they're assigning them to the VA, so it brings another load or another crowd, to assigning appointments and those particularities, and that's what I think is bringing some of the congestion. And I think that when you come off of active duty, now you come to that place of veteran status. You should be able to be serviced in a quickening sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of issues are going on with people who have served. And you want those issues taken care of so that they don't bring another issue into existence, within your body, within your health, your physical status. You want to curb that one so it won't cause another one.
Right.
And many times that put off will allow something else to creep up or crop up in your health.
Yeah, I just saw somebody post on our Facebook page. They say they give medicine like clockwork, but only want to see you once a year. Like they'll throw all this medicine at you, but then it's almost impossible to get doctor's appointments at times. And it's like, this medicine, what effects is it having on your body? You can't really just go back and say, hey, I'm having bad issues while I'm taking this medicine because
side effects.
Yeah, the side effects, they won't see you that clear. They won't see you that quickly. So it's like, who do you talk to?
And one thing I did while I worked for the state about 25 years after coming, being my time in the military, and I kept insurance outside of that insurance,
Yeah.
so that I would have a balanced scenario, because I trusted them, but at the same time, I've always was under this the advice, from my parents: get more than a first opinion, get a second opinion, and if you can, get a third one.
Right.
So that's why I kept my insurance, and I still, keep insurance for my family and myself, because I really want to have the best. Because this is the only body I got. I can't go to Walmart.
Right.
I can't go to Walmart and go down to Aisle C and get one.
Right.
This it.
That's it. Yeah, you only can get one body.
You know,
If you get another one, let me know.
one of the things I've learned, being a civilian and spending a lot of time with veterans in the last 3 years, that only time can teach you. The books can't teach you certain things, and one of the things that I've learned, that just giving the medicine and not really taking the time.
Yeah.
And I learned that firsthand. And unfortunately, a lot of times the government might throw money at a situation, but it's missing the human factor. And that human factor is it says a lot.
Yeah. We're gonna be right back. This is Urban City Radio, where we bring the sounds of boots on the ground, boot up. I really want to, when we come back, I really do want to talk about that other side, that you're a civilian who deal with veterans. So it's like you have a whole different perspective, because most veterans that I've talked with are guys just like Pastor Stack, who says, I serve my country, and I feel like this is how I'm being treated now. But as a civilian who deals with veterans, you have a different perspective than that. I mean, you still understand why he's frustrated in some of the ways, but it's kind of like, well, now I know what other services are trying to alleviate these issues.
Yeah. One thing that was said on Facebook, shouts out to Shaver. She was saying that it was easier overseas, and when she came home, it was much worse in a lot of ways. And then she also, on top of that, she was saying that her meds come in the mail. There's no appointments needed.
Her what?
Her meds come in the mail.
Oh.
And there are no appointments needed.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people start trying to take that option over. If I go here, man, I'm, and I could, I used to deal with frustrated veterans, which I understood why they were frustrated, because it's like, I come here because I need help.
Yeah.
That was one thing they taught me while I was there. It was like, you can't look at these people as though they got normal situation. No, these people are coming because they have a situation and they need help.
Yeah.
And we want to thank those for watching on Facebook Live. Also, it's really important to our community to know about what veterans go through and the way that they need help and how they can be helped. A lot of times we don't know about that, in the community and in the urban community. So we need to later on in the show, we want to break that down of how Operations Veteran Support breaks that down, how they help people, how they help those veterans, and how people can get involved to help you help them also.
Yeah. But when we come back in a few minutes, about a minute or two, we come back, we really want to talk about civilian working with veterans. How is your outlook? Because I could see that you probably deal with patients that probably have PTSD, and they do have moments when they have this frustration about what's going on. And I want to know, how did you handle that? How do you talk to somebody who their family is just coming home from the military, and it's like they don't understand? So yeah,
we'll bring it back there like that.
Yeah, we're gonna bring that back.
Another post on Facebook says that Ms. Dixon said her husband served 30 years and have been denied many benefits that was promised to him and his family.
Man, yeah.
So we want to dig into that too, because that's something that you don't hear about. Veterans should get the most benefits.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it, because that you've been through war, you've been through this training, you should get the most out of everything, not just a day.
Standing on the wall of the country.
Exactly. Welcome back to Urban City Radio, man. If you guys are missing what's going on, throughout the break, you missed it, on Facebook Live. So again, tune in every Wednesday night on Facebook Live. We were talking about Dr. Brown, how you didn't serve in the military, but you're serving now to help those veterans, get to the point where they need help. As a civilian, could you tell the people, as a civilian, how you go, the stages that you go through on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm blessed, and we're blessed to have a well-diverse team.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't serve in the military, I'm serving now.
Right.
And I'm blessed to have people like Pastor Stack, who have served, and we have a very diverse team: women, men, civilians, and people who serve. We've been doing this about 3 years, and we have some volunteers that have served. And my biggest lesson I learned, I can recall a couple years ago, we were working on this big project. We were repairing our facility, and we were doing a line by line, precept by precept item on what we're going to go do next. And we had a company that was going to, help and assist us. But before we complete what we're going to do, we were going to send them a list of it. And unfortunately, one of the volunteers sent the company a copy of the list before we were ready to do that.
Send it? Yeah.
And the guy called me and said, "Dr. Brown, let's go over the list." And I go, "What list?" And so I was furiated that how could you send this list before we went over? And I wanted to respond in a different way, and I had to be true to myself. It was like God asked me, "How can you handle a veteran outside with PTSD, and you don't know how to handle one
Inside.
inside?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a reality, and I wanted to say, but there was no but.
Yeah.
Okay, that I had to be true to myself, and I've had a lot of moments where I had to make sure that my motives are pure.
Right.
Okay, and so you can't really know unless you served. I can never tell you I know what Brother Stack has went through. I didn't go through that, and I respect that. But I can say for the last 3 years, I spent at least 20 to 25 hours a week with veterans, those who have, from people who volunteer their time and with people who have PTSD. I've been fortunate to go the last 3 years. We take about 200 people veterans to Washington, D.C., to the Vietnam Wall, the Korean Wall, and just spend a lot of time. And the books can't teach you that.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to spend sometimes. I believe that all things, like the Bible says, all things work together for good, for those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. I've gotten more out of it by spending the time. I grew up in Charleston, and when I was graduating from high school, they were looking down on Vietnam veterans. They were spitting on them and calling them baby killers. And the military was the last place I wanted to go from witnessing that.
Right.
But if I knew then what I know now, and now I have a chance to serve, so I'm doing my part now.
I do have a question, because since you have been spending so much time with veterans for the past 3 years, what advice could you give for somebody who's their family member is coming back from war, their family member is coming back overseas? What advice would you give them to help that person go through that transition of coming back to civilian life or retiring from military after everything?
Well, I'm going to share from a civilian's point of view, and Pastor Stack can tell you firsthand. But one of the things I've learned, and I've took classes on suicide and a lot of prevention and a lot of things, is really you need to give a veteran their space. Okay, some veterans have nightmares, and a lot of things that they go through. There's nothing you can do about let them work through it. The best thing you can do sometimes is just listen. because you really don't understand. You think you might have a solution. The best thing is to do is just be quiet, let them get it off their chest, and give them their space.
Yeah, I think that being a veteran and also I can play the role of being a civilian, being a pastor as well. And I thank God for being able to motivate me to both of those spaces. But one of the things and the best thing I think from my stance is that people have the tendency to be false with people when they come back from uncertainty. So I tell people, I say, what you were with that person before they left, be that same thing when they come back.
Right.
But have the ideal about yourself to be present with them and allow them to gender the conversation and lead the conversation. And when they request you to have something to say or to be a part of it, then you be that part. But be it as you were with that person before they left. If you don't have a space or time with that person, you can have FaceTime with that person. Let them dictate. And many times people act out of falsity or fake, and we don't need that, because bullets are real,
Yeah.
grenades are real, chemical is real, basic training was real, officer candidate training was real, being disappointed was real, and coming back out of environments that has a lot of stress in it was real. And now you're coming back into a space and into a place, it appears different to you. So you're not the one that makes up the difference. You're the one that creates the atmosphere so the difference can be received.
Yeah.
The people they don't need to be fake. You need to be what you were with them before they left, so that they'll know you for who you are and you can know them for what they have become.
One of the other things I found out that veterans wants to be around their comrades. There's a lot of other therapeutical veterans group that they can get involved with, and when they're conversing with another veteran, they feel that, hey, you understand.
You understand me. Yeah.
You're my brother, my sister.
Yeah, I remember reading an article, and it was talking about how kids in Chicago, they had similar traits to almost a war veteran. And they had started, I remember a veteran program had actually started, some veterans who had PTSD had started a program for kids with PTSD.
Yeah.
Because they felt like these kids were going through some of the same issues right here on American soil that they went through overseas.
Yeah.
So, and that was one of the things they said, like, put them around people that feel like they understand them. Like, yo, this is what we're going through. This is what we experience. It might not be, I did the same thing as you, but we experienced very similar situations where it's, nobody knows war unless you've been in war. Nobody can describe war. Everybody have an idea of what it is, but nobody know what they would do if they're not in that, if they were in that situation. And that was profound what you said. Just put them around other people that they feel like this is community. I've heard so many veterans say that their combat buddies were, that they felt more family with them at times than they did with their own family.
Okay, and I think a lot of that deals again with trying to be the ideal for them. So trauma is trauma, whether it's on the street or whether it's in the war, because bullets are bullets in both places. Running is running in both places, ducking and hiding and trying to take cover, feed your body, being excited to another level, and things come across your mind and your heart and your soul that's foreign. So now it becomes trauma and PTSD, regardless to where you're experiencing that. It's just that within the scenario of being a veteran, you are prepared for that, but not prepared. Because when it happens, I don't care how prepared you are. Scared comes in, wanting to live comes in, and all those other fear factors. And it's the same identical mindset that may be taking the place of on the streets of Chicago, in some place where they don't label as being the hood and all these crazy terminologies that degrade human life. And that's a problem. They still human as a child. A child experienced traumatic stuff more today than probably any time in the history of human beings. And we have to treat those particularities in the same similar sense that we would treat a veteran coming from overseas or post this country in a war. And we have to look at them in the same bracket, the same light. But for some reason, we got some separation this year with that. And now you can cause, because the veteran has a controlled environment. They have a schematic that's built. Self-control and discipline for those particularities. Practice, 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 and practice. But you walk out on the street of Chicago, you ain't got no practice.
Nah, you just kind of have to learn how to adapt to the situation.
Exactly.
Without training.
Exactly. But we'll be back. Urban City Radio. Boot up.
Boot up. You know, I was listening to you when you were talking about, you know, traumatic experiences. I don't think people realize that when you've gone through a certain situation and it's a consistent thing,
Yeah.
that's your new reality.
Yes.
That's new reality. It's no longer this is normal. No, your normal is
New
different.
normal.
Yeah,
That's
this is
your
a
new
new
normal.
normal. And now you have people who come back and they got to debrief after that. And my father-in-law is a veteran, and he's been out of the military almost 20, 30 years now. And he still wake up in the middle of the night screaming.
Yeah, I do too.
And it's like, as I have conversation with, it's just some things I won't talk about it, but he's like, yeah, you know, you just don't understand it. You ain't been over there. You
Right.
ain't been in the desert. You can't tell me how it is to be in the desert.
I think that's and that's one thing I hate. You know, I really despise when people say, "Yeah, I know what you're going through, but you ain't never been what I've been going through." I can't compare to what you've been through because you've been through something totally different that I never will see probably in life.
Yeah.
But I can sit there and listen to you and you can tell me stories like, man, that's a lot. But I can never say, man, I understand what you went through. No, I can't. No, I don't. You know, it's impossible. How can you say I understand what you've been through when you haven't been there?
Yeah, I was like, my mother passed like 7 years ago. And in the midst of it, some folk was, you know, just talking to Serenium. That's what my nickname is. They said, man, I understand what you're saying. I said, let me ask you a question. I already knew their mother hadn't passed.
Mm-hmm.
I said, how you going to tell me you understand? I said, your mother still living? I said, yeah. I said, how dare you do me that?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you do me that? I'm very conscious of my environment to not try to identify with something that I've never traveled down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I try to train people up again to be what you were.
Mm-hmm.
Be there, be in that space. The minute you encroach somewhere else, it's full disrespect for that person and yourself too.
Yeah.
All that they've done and all that they see didn't mean a hill of beans to you. Now you have become that false presetter that no longer getting good for anything. You know, you can't go there again if you hadn't been there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need to learn how to empathize with each other, but at the same time, like you said, look, if I'm your friend, I empathize with you. I'm here for you as much as I can be here for you, but I can't say I can take the same weight that you taking right now.
Amen.
It's
You can
Yeah.
take that another step further. Even if someone's mother has died, they still don't know.
what he's going through. Yeah.
You still can't say I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
And that's the point where you can say I can understand, but I just don't know what you
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because one of my best friends, his mother passed a few years ago, like the day before Christmas, and he called me, and we grew up together. I stayed at his house, played games. So he called me. He's like, "Yo, man, she gone." Who gone? Yeah, my mom gone. What you mean? We back Urban City Radio, man. See, if y'all was understanding what was going on, doing this break right now, you would get a lot. Pastor Stack and Dr. Brown, me and Jay, we just talking about some things where people just cannot understand what you go through, either as a veteran or even in life, and say that you understand what somebody going through, and you really don't. You can't put. Pastor Stack was saying it's disrespectful. You're disrespecting that person. You're disrespecting yourself. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about outside before the show. There's so many things that you went through in Desert Storm. If you guys didn't know, he was a veteran of Desert Storm, and you was telling us like the new normal to you as a veteran, is totally different than the norm to the person that's there. Can you go back over that what we was talking about outside earlier?
Yeah, well, wow. When we, first of all, they always have this eventfulness that takes place before you go there to try to prepare you for the theater that you're going in. You know, you got to get medically prepared, you have to get mentally prepared and motivated to be able to insert yourself into that environment. And many times the trauma begins before you go.
Wow.
You know, because, you know, going through the medical procedures and stuff like that and documentation in your medical records and stuff is not one to be highlighted. It's almost like they're rushing you through. I tell them, I'm not Russian, I'm American. So get me in the way we're supposed to. So I always,
Don't rush it.
yeah. I mean, I was a commander. I had people I was responsible for. I'm responsible for myself, but unto others, you know. So I always would ensure that stuff was in their medical records and that they was appropriately dictated, you know. Even if they didn't put the right thing in the records, I knew on this day we had some stuff
That's
done.
done. Yeah.
And that was my way of protecting them and saying to them, I love you, and I want you to stay alive. And we had medications and stuff like that when we was over there. Many times I told them, I said, don't take that stuff. So we not a laboratory. We're not guinea pigs. I said, because my spirit is telling me that this stuff is not good for us, and this stuff is just a guinea pig laboratory type of thing. And I would tell them, I said, if I catch you taking it, I'm gonna bust you up myself. So, but you know, the thing is that most people don't know many times what the military is actually going through. So sometimes we have to know that there are two environments of trauma. And when you have those two different environments of trauma, then trauma upon trauma makes it even deeper. So now you come back with a different type of normal, because it now is fast paced, it's protective, it sees you and me and many other things in a different light, and even in a different threat. So it's just that we have to, you just have to be very careful, but not so overly careful to disrespect the humanality of a person who's a veteran.
I'm glad you actually said that, because we had a question on Facebook. John Parker, he said, I've never been there, and I have often wondered what it's like. When talking to veterans who have served overseas, I have both asked and not asked about the experience. What do you think is appropriate? Should they ask? Shouldn't they ask? Or what do you think is the appropriate response for somebody who's never been there? How should they respond to this person who has been there?
Well, if you're familiar with the person, you probably already know some things that you can do and can say or can be. But if you are a stranger with a person and that person opens up the environment for you to come into to share with them, or they're sharing their experience with you, then they are the ones who have invited you into a space. But if a person say, well, I'm a retired Marine, a retired Army, retired Navy, Air Force, or whatever, and then you go into a plethora of questions.
Yeah.
That's not your space.
Yeah, don't ask me all these questions. We just respond many times.
I'm just telling you, I've been in the Army.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just to say thank you for your service. And then but going, well, what wars you served in? Really?
I can see how that question
you
could
better serve
bother
in
you.
one right now.
Yeah. That can belittle in a person's mind what their role was.
Yeah.
But in the military, it doesn't matter if you were a cook or whatever you did, you served. And it takes all part to win.
Yeah, because they don't know. Yeah, they don't know whether you were in supply or logistics, or whether you was O3 or whether you was a pilot. They don't. When you don't understand the monster, don't be trying to break down the parts.
Ooh. Yeah.
But still, even with that though, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was trained
Yes.
to do what they had to do. So
Amen.
you may be a cook, but you mess around and get that cook, and you get the business.
You get that pot.
Yeah, exactly. you get cooked.
Yeah. Everybody's on the range. Everybody know how to put on the chemical mask. They know how to throw chemical. They know how to throw a grenade. We are all trained as ground and foot soldiers first. Everybody's trained to put a round down range. Everybody understands grid azimuth and windage and all that stuff. They understand putting somebody in the crosshairs of your scope, and all those different particularities. So you're trained first to survive. See, people don't understand the fact that there are some high-tech variables that you have to go through in war, and they train you for it, but the actuality is way different because other emotions play in too.
Yeah.
And when you don't understand them other emotions, people understand training, but they don't understand the emotion that comes up when the actual actually takes place.
Right.
And that's the one that many people offend when it comes to a veteran. They're going to tell you, well, if I had gone to that war, I don't think I would have came back like you are. You don't even know how I am now.
Exactly.
So how dare you belittle what I have deemed necessary so you can stay a nice, free civilian?
It's one thing to go through the simulation. It's another thing to go through the actual
Yeah.
full experience.
Amen. Yeah. I mean, I went in the military, and I'm everybody hoping they don't have to go to a war, but I know that I was getting a paycheck, and if a war came and they call my number and say, "Hey, you and your unit got to go," guess what you got to do? You got to ante up. You got to put the boots on the ground, and you got to go. And as an officer, as a leader, I always prayed to God. I said, God, don't never allow me to look fearful. Always cause me to never turn my back on my giant, but have me face my giant, so that those who are following me, they have the same courage I have, that we might face the giant. Now, survival is about sometimes facing the giant and destroying the giant, and other emotions come in the midst of that.
Right.
They don't make it smaller.
Right.
They just kind of make it normal, change a little more.
Gotcha. So, Dr. Brown, I want to, before we get into the next break and actually dig a little bit deeper in Operation Veteran Support, tell everyone how it got started, the start around Operation Veteran Support.
Well, I'm a native country boy from Charleston, South Carolina. And I grew up on a street where nothing but families. My dad's house was here. His brother lived next door, and so we had our own little village. And my uncle served in Vietnam. He was our hero, And
Yeah.
one day, a helicopter came over the house, and he lost it. Grabbed his gun. He shot his wife.
Wow.
He shot my aunt 3 or 4 times. I witnessed it. And I end up, along with a couple other family members, we got PTSD
Wow.
from witnessing it. And we just knew that she was dead. 4 bullets. And she is paralyzed from the waist down. But thank God she's still alive today.
Wow.
That's amazing.
This happened 25 years ago. And I carried that a long time. It took me 24 years or so, 23 years to even talk about it. I have other family members that still didn't know what happened. They would see my aunt today in a wheelchair, but they never knew what happened.
Right.
And that happened in Charleston, and they brought my uncle back, to Columbia, and he went through some psychiatric, and I was with him every day. And that's where I got my commitment to not only help veterans, but to help the family, because it affects the family also, not just the veteran. And that was my big commitment, and I didn't do it right away, because I had a real estate career, and God just opened doors, put me in the right place to do it at the right time.
Right.
So it's very personal with me.
Yeah.
So I'm all the way in. My heart is in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we back, Urban City Radio.
Man, yeah, that right there, that shocked me right there. I ain't expecting the story to be like that.
Yeah.
But that actually goes back to show how we don't. A lot of times these soldiers either aren't debriefed right, or a lot of them. Most people aren't built for that kind of situation, that kind of experience.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad we're off the air right now, because a lot of times I could never even tell that story without, because as I'm telling the story, I'm seeing it, and I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling it, just telling you guys the story.
Yeah.
I was I was married a long time before I could even share this with my wife. And she used to wonder certain things what was wrong with me. And I would just have a flashback about it. You know. It's really deep, man.
Yeah.
It affected me in a lot of ways that I didn't even realize. But I know that God has me to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't have it all together, but I'm praying to God to put the right people, because I know that's
Absolutely.
way bigger than me.
Right.
And I mean, the work you're doing, the fact that because you saw that your response wasn't, I hate all veterans, I hate the military. It was like, no, this is somebody I love and I see why they did it. I want to be somebody that helped these people so they don't have to go through this no more. So you took your pains, man, and you made something beautiful out of it. A lot of people don't have that story.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they go the other way. They hate everybody.
Yeah.
And the fact that's why I know, for one thing, I saw the people and all the love that was at the veteran support on Saturday, but hearing your heart behind it, this makes me say, I want this more. I want this to go further in Columbia.
Yeah.
I want more veterans involved. I want the VA to get behind this, because they need the support too. They obviously, the VA need the support if they can't keep up with everything that's going on. So yeah, dude, that story right there, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that,
Thank you. Yeah.
because we don't hear that. Those are the story, the success stories. That's a success story.
Yeah.
It's a success story because of the fact that you didn't take it and make negative out of it. You took something that was negative and made it a positive to help others. And the way that you help others is going to help somebody else in the same situation that you've been through.
Yeah.
So that's thank you for sharing that story. And we back, Urban City Radio. Before going to break, Dr. Brown was telling the reason why Operation Veteran Support is what it is today, and we want him to want you to actually tell us what you do, what Operation Veteran Support do for veterans, and any way that anybody can help build it larger than what it is now.
Our mission and our goal, like I said before, we're a one-stop shop organization to help veterans get all the support that they deserve. There are a few things that we do, and the things that we don't do, we point and we assist veterans to go in the right direction. We know that the number one main concern for most veterans is their benefit.
Yeah.
We have people that are certified. You just can't assist someone if you're not certified to help them get.
The BSO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but we have people with us that are, and I've had the training also. But that's the number one. Different veterans have different needs.
Right.
You know, we assist and help them find jobs. There are a lot of homeless veterans.
Yeah.
We assist with that, and there are a lot of veterans that has PTSD, and as a matter of fact, 70% of the homeless veteran suffers from some kind of substance abuse.
Yeah.
So they go hand in hand. We're big on education, and Pastor Stack mentioned earlier, he's big on education, and we want to assist veterans with education. You'll be surprised that a lot of veterans are not aware of some things that not only for them but their families. We try to support education, and we support. We have a 55,000 square feet facility, and we're renovating it right now. But we still, during the renovation period, we're not waiting until it's completely fixed to start helping people. We help people daily.
Right.
Last Saturday, well, you were there. We had a food giveaway. We had a big picnic. We ate food and we fellowship, and we were able to give food. We have clothing. We have a lot of different things that we do.
Yeah, I think one of the big things about it is to be able to help clear the atmosphere. That help is available.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, the thing that here's one of the things that I believe that we are called to be a unique organization. What I mean by unique is this: we can't do everything.
Right.
Not one organization around this city or near can do everything. But what we can do is, if we join hands together with combat, the combat service group, the VFWs, and some of these other organizations that are around this city, if we would all come together as one mind and sit down, and then we can see our limitations and our strength. And if we can create a servicing organization with these strengths, and all of us are sitting at the same table and we are located in the same space, then the strengths are there, and we can provide much more of a degree of support for the veterans. We are also complete the need a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And but so many times you have organizations that want to be an entity unto themselves, and many times in the midst of that, you lose sight of the real true purpose that you are in the service and business. So your individualism becomes much more important than your servicing ability, because you want to be the big iota over and above other organizations that are within the same servicing area that you are doing. And now, because you're concentrated on that, you lose your servicing capability. I believe that if we will all sit at the table, we would identify our limitations and our strength, and someone else would have that strength that you are limited in.
Right.
Because the Bible says it clearly: we are one body, many parts, different functions for the good of the whole. Now, who's the good of the whole? The veteran and their families and the community that's around them, so they can bring them back into the full status of saying, this can be my neighbor.
Right.
Yeah.
Do unto others as if though you would have them do unto you. Love one another as I've loved you. That's how they will know you. So we need to create an environment where all these service and organizations can come together. We're in one place and one space. Now the servicing is under that umbrella. And that veteran that comes in there, he or she, they are fully equipped and full of knowledge to get to the bottom line of what their benefits and services truly are as a veteran. And now the status of their value can go out into the community, and they can start to becoming a healed and a whole vessel for society and the community again.
So when we come back, one thing I want us to do before we end the show is I definitely want to know how many volunteers do you need right now? Like, how often do you need people to come volunteer? How can they volunteer? Ways to get in touch with you guys.
Before you say that, Jay, we'll be back up at City Radio.
Yeah, I said, when we come back, we about to be back. But when we come back, I really want us to deal with how can people volunteer? How can people support? We want to bring the veterans back into the community so they know this is home.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
I understand this is your reality, and that's a part of you now.
Yes.
But this is still home.
Yes.
And we want this to be home. So how can we help you guys and also help veterans do that?
Yeah.
So we'll be back in 30 seconds.
A little less than that.
A little less.
Yeah.
What second Saturday? Remember Angela was talking about?
Oh, it's on.
And we back, Urban
Yeah.
City Radio. Again, the reason why we do the show is actually also, what Jay says in the beginning of the show, but also we want to bring awareness of what's going on in our community. And Operation Veteran Support is helping our veterans. So we want to make sure we get these volunteers to come out here and help you. If you want to donate, want to find out how they can do that also. And if you could just let everyone know how they can where to come to if they want to come volunteer, the number, the website, and everything of that nature, if you would please.
We're located at 3600 Colonial Drive. That's near the Richland Memorial Hospital. We're in the corner of Colonial Drive and High Street. And Colonial Drive, our facility sits off the road, because a lot of times people just drive by. Okay, but it's on the corner of Colonial Drive and High Street. We have a phone number there is 803-661-9468. And we're at operationveteransupport.org. We're there 5 days a week. We're doing a lot of renovation. We have 55,000 square feet. It's a lot we have like 30 rooms, offices. We have a kitchen that we're renovating where people could have spiritual food. We have a chapel where they can come and have spiritual. The kitchen is for physical food, and the chapel is for spiritual food.
Okay.
Pastor Stack and chaplains, one-stop shop. They can come and get all their needs.
I think we also have a GoFundMe page. Yeah.
Okay, what's the GoFundMe page?
Yeah,
Let's
give me
go
that
GoFundMe.
information. Yeah.
He brought it up and didn't have it with him.
No,
We got it.
Go to the website.
It's on the website.
It's right on there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on GoFundMe. It's OBS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Turham
Yeah.
is gonna get me for not having
Having
that
that.
right now.
It's all right.
So I know
So we
she's
just
listening.
created it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, but it is on the website.
Yes.
Yes.
So again, go to veteransupport.org to the website if you want to help donate to the GoFundMe. It is on the website. If you want to show up physically, go to 3600 Colonial Drive. Again, that's 3600 Colonial Drive. If you want to call and see what you can do, call them at 803-661-9468. And this is Operation Veteran Support. So again, we thank you guys for coming out, sharing your stories. Thank you for helping our veterans. Thank you for being a veteran.
Thank you.
Thank you for serving, even though you didn't serve as a vet in anything in any wars or anything. You're serving, like you said, you're serving now.
Yeah, you definitely serving.
You serving now.
Thank you.
So we appreciate your service. Of course, we're going to definitely make sure that we do our best to help out as much as we possibly can here as well. Anything else that you guys want to share before we leave out?
Yeah, we try to do something every 4 to 6 weeks. We have a clothes closet and we have a food bank. So, if you know someone that is less fortunate, we're here. We're blessed to be a blessing.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
And we just, we just really looking really to what God is doing with this, because the Bible tells us strictly so that through Jesus Himself, He said, "I didn't come to be served; I came to serve."
Right.
One of the things I've learned along the way is that when you also look at yourself from that stance, then you're probably gonna get the work done without even knowing that you got the work done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost like it just flows out of you. And He said, out of us shall flow what rivers of living water. So service is living waters. So we just asking people to come, just to make yourself available. Even if you can make yourself available for only 2-3 hours a week, imagine what you can do. Because even in the renovation stage, we do cleaning and everything like that. We can use your help there. If you have a skill, if you can paint, you can do carpentry, and those particular areas, for little things, you can put some stuff together. But we're looking forward to what God is going to do for us, and I believe without a shadow of a doubt that Operation Veteran Support is going to be on the map of God's heart so that we can do things well for veterans. And again, We are not an organization that think that we can do everything. We are also looking for other organizations that are centered on veterans to come in so that we can put this one body together with the many parts, different functions for the good of the whole, which is the veterans and their family. So we bless you.
Thank you. This was Urban City Radio, where we bring you the sounds of boots on the ground. Go support Operation Veteran Support. Go to the website, operationveteransupport.org. We love you, and we out. Boot up.
Boot up.
Boot up.
Good job, God. Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys again for tuning in on Facebook, man. We appreciate you. Share this. Let someone know what's going on, because somebody needs to know. And we out
of here.
Bless you.
Bless you, Dr. Brown. Man, I appreciate you today. And Pastor Stack.
And we'll do that. So volunteer and do that. Because now when you look at the collective, you're helping the collective instead of everybody doing one same thing. Right.
That was something you said earlier. You was like, food isn't always the need. And like, we got the food covered, right? But where are they gonna go?
Right.
And I wanted you to touch on that. What about the people who say, I'm out here helping. I'm trying to give them the little gift bags. I'm trying to